Riley. I'm 12 years old. I'm a cadet, and I have anxiety and depression.
Hi, my name is Alexis. I am a cadet. I'm 11 years old, and I have ADHD.
And that is Domino.
This is my friend Domino. We are here to talk about neurodiversity and mental health. What is neurodiversity? Diversity is how our brains function with social situations. For example, anxiety or ADHD. What does neurotypical mean? Neurotypical means individuals with typical brain development and function.
Neurodivergent means individuals with atypical brain development and function. Their brains are built differently.
No, anxiety and depression is not a part of neurodiversity, but a lot of neurodivergent people have anxiety or depression, and chronic anxiety and depression, especially from a young age, can change the way your brain is built.
ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. People with ADHD, like myself, have problems with impulsiveness, disorganization, and problems at prioritizing, poor time management skills, problems at focusing on a task, and trouble at multitasking.
How is ADD different from ADHD?
Well, ADD is actually now considered an outdated term for inattentive ADHD. It was more a diagnosis for girls, and ADHD was more diagnosis for boys. Boys typically appear physically hyperactive, and girls show hyperactivity, inability to pay attention, or daydreaming. I do not daydream.
Yeah, you do.
I do?
Yeah.
Dyslexia is a learning disorder that affects the brain. That affects how the brain learns language, often linked to ADHD. Dyscalculia is a learning disorder that affects the brain process math skills, often linked to ADHD. Trying to get me tested for both of those, which are
With more
probably
enthusiasm.
I'm gonna get tested for both of those.
Okay, maybe dial it back a little bit. Why is it harder for girls to get diagnosed with ADHD than it is for boys?
Well, because their brains develop differently, and boys tend to show more extreme symptoms, like hyperness, even though I show that a lot. When we think of ADHD, we think of the hyper loud boy who can't sit still. Am I that guy now?
A little bit.
Yeah. So not just guys. Not every ADHD boy is like that. The hyper part of the disorder in girls, it shows up as daydreaming and trouble focusing.
Anxiety is a normal and healthy emotion unless it happens all the time or to the extreme. And then it can become a mental health concern. Anxiety disorders are mental issues that cause extreme worry and apprehensiveness. Depression is a mood disorder that causes present sadness and loss of interest that can interfere with your daily function, not just being upset. There are 3 million cases per year of depression.
Okay. How does anxiety and depression affect you?
Anxiety makes it hard to be around family and friends and makes it hard to socialize. I spend a lot of time with Domino, my cockatiel. It makes it hard to have friends. Depression drains my motivation. It makes me not want to do school or really anything at all. I just want to lay in my bed and be left alone. I don't think people understand and they take it personally when it's not about them. It makes keeping friends hard. I also have trouble sleeping. And I also have trouble eating.
Don't we all?
Alright, how does ADHD affect you?
Well, ADHD affects me. It's really hard to focus even when I'm on my medicine. Sometimes I have panic attacks when I can't focus, and I know I need to. I can be forgetful even with really important stuff. I'm sometimes very impulsive, especially with things I say. People think I'm a little much, and most people think I'm really annoying.
You're a little much, but that's okay. We love you anyway.
Thank you. I feel like Jean now. And that makes me self-conscious, which makes my impulsivity and randomness worse. My friends that are accepting will help guide me back to whatever we're focusing on, which makes me feel like a little kid. It hurts. Really feel bad. It can be embarrassing. I also have trouble eating because of my meds. Not just because of my meds. Math can be really hard, so can reading. But I really like reading. Like, for instance, The Hunger Games, Harry Potter, mostly big books.
Alright, Riley, what do you do to help with your anxiety and depression?
I take medication. I go to a therapist in and out of school when we were in school. I have some coping mechanisms like tracing my hand. When you go up, you breathe in. When you go down, you breathe out, and the rest of your hand. And I spend a lot of time with my bird.
As he's doing weird stuff.
He's preening.
What do you do to help with your ADHD, Alexis?
Well, I take medication and see a behavioral therapist, which I hate therapists. But I like mine. He's nice.
He also likes mine.
Yeah. I draw and spend time with my cat and my dog, Steve. Steve is a lot like me. Listening to music helps me focus, and I don't know why people think that it's weird, because listening to NF and Billie Eilish while you do homework, that's not weird.
Alexis, this question came from our friend Mary. What is one thing you wish your teachers understood about your ADHD?
Feathers everywhere.
Well, I think that they need to be very specific when they give instructions. Not like how they do with preschoolers when they're like, oh, so you need to trace over that. Because it's annoying. I need help understanding the steps in a problem, like in math. I need you to tell me if I need to use multiplication or whatever. I feel dumb and it makes me frustrated, and sometimes questions on tests aren't worded in a way that is helpful. Sometimes the pick the best answer questions are confusing. What I think is the best answer sometimes isn't the right answer, like in reading.
Alright, what is one thing you wish your parents understood about your ADHD?
Also from Mary.
Yes.
Well, whenever it seems like I'm not paying attention or I'm trying, I am really paying attention and I'm really trying. My brain just keeps going in different directions, and sometimes I forget what we're talking about or what we're doing. Then the what ifs start in my head and I get anxious and upset. That sometimes when you're trying to explain things to me, you make me feel really dumb.
Alright, Riley, what is one thing you wish your friends understood about your anxiety and depression?
Just because I don't talk to you or don't respond to the messages doesn't mean that I don't want to talk to you or that I don't want to be friends. It just means at that moment I need a minute and I'm not ready to talk.
Alright, what activities help with ADHD? This came from your friend Skylar.
Fidget toys, listening to music, sports, and exercise. cuddling my pets, art, and scary movies. I love scary movies, especially ones from Stephen King.
All right, what activities help you with anxiety and depression?
Reading, hanging out with my animals like Domino, fidgets, sensory fidgets like kinetic sand or slime.
Oh, slime.
All right.
Like the best fidgety.
How are animals helpful to people with mental health issues? This came from your dog, Steve.
Of course it did.
They're distracting and they're comforting, and they are very fun to cuddle.
Yes.
All right. Same question, ADHD, also from Steve. How do animals help with that?
Well, Steve, petting them can feel like using a fidget toy, just like playing with their fur. And especially whenever Steve goes up to me, and he's a very good boy. Even though he's like me, I can teach him things. They can be really comforting too when I'm overstimulated, and it's so cute whenever he just lays on top of you, even though he crushes your body.
Yeah, he's a big dog.
He is.
All right. Fidgets, do they help? This is a question for both of you.
Yes.
Yes. Slime is the best fidget to me because it's like, it's satisfying.
I like the fidget cube.
All right.
They're really useful.
All right. What are some advantages of ADHD?
Well, sometimes, whenever I'm really, really focused, like, one time whenever it was like 3 a.m., like, super focus just came in, and I cleaned my room. I had Hamilton on, and I was literally cleaning my room, and I was all dressed.
Yeah.
I was ready. But creativity too. A lot of ADHD people are artists or musicians or actors. I love to draw, sing, and act. I play percussion in band. And I've always wanted to be an actress or a voice actor for anime.
There you go. What are some famous people with ADHD?
Justin Timberlake, which he's pretty cool. I like him. And Emma Watson, the famous Hermione Granger.
All right. What are some famous people with anxiety and depression?
Kim Kardashian, Ryan Reynolds, Prince Harry, and Selena Gomez.
Okay.
Kesha.
Okay.
All right. What is ableism and how does it apply to neurodivergent people?
Ableism is discrimination.
Discrimination.
Discrimination, thank you. It's discrimination and social prejudice against people.
Prejudice.
Prejudice. I can't speak, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Me neither.
It's okay.
Ableism is discrimination and prejudice against people with disabilities or people who are perceived to be disabled.
A lot of people look at neurodivergent people like we're disabled, which is really annoying. We're still able to do whatever we want. We just might do it differently. But people will still treat us different or act like we're weird. Which, being weird isn't a bad thing.
Right. What are some examples of ableism?
Shaming those who don't fall in line with typical social behaviors.
Calling out their productivity and work habits.
Yelling at them for being generally disruptive.
Judging people by the way they think or speak.
Punishing them for not making deadlines or meeting expectations.
Using the R word to make fun of things.
Treating people with mental illness like they're fragile, broken, or dangerous.
What do you want people to take away from this video?
Be more patient with your friend. If your friend seems distant, it might not be anything to do with you. They might be struggling with anxiety or depression, and you could try to talk to them and see if they can help. That sometimes there's nothing you can do, and it's not always about you, and it's not always your fault.
But I think earlier you said something about not wanting people to pity you. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, and try not to pity them. I mean, it sucks.
What do you want people to take away from this video, Alexis?
For the other kids with the ADHD or neurodivergence, to know that you are normal and you can do anything you want to do for them. To know that there are people like them out there. I want neurotypical people to look at us like we're not capable. I don't want them to look at us like we're not capable, even if we need a little help. You just interrupted me. Or we do it a weird way. We can still do it. Thank you. That is my time. Bye-bye.
Shoot, get out of my room.
Here you go. That's